bathroom.
Can you feature that awful creature? Can you feature that ugly creature? Creature features and feature features about creatures. Creature features. Now the strangest thing about this show or two. Features and creature features and more creatures and more features. And the creature's gonna get you tonight.
And welcome to yet another episode of Show Us for Crit, virtual tabletop game show. Not really a game show. Anyway, we're kind of like that. We don't give away prizes yet. I don't think so. Anyway, we're here with episode 5 of Curse of Strahd. Wow, we're already 5 episodes in. That's kind of cool, and we're still alive. So we before I go ahead and turn it back over to. I thought you were doing Italian curses there, Matt. Yeah.
No.
All right, family show. Anyway, before I go ahead and turn it over to our game master, Mike Pancaneer, let me go ahead and go through my usual rigmarole. You'll notice that we are down one. We definitely one of our cast, Todd, has other things going on, so right now we are just down to 5, but we definitely wish him luck with his endeavors. So let's go ahead and move on to our Patreon. Again, we are there, and honestly, if I can log on to my Patreon, I could see if we actually have people. For some reason, Patreon is being really weird, so if you're subscribing to our Patreon, thank you so much. I will eventually get this resolved with Patreon so I can actually see the site. If you're watching us on YouTube, which I know a lot of us do, check us out there. Remember to hit the bell and subscribe. It's really important for us so we can start building up our audience and be available to do merch and other such things. And speaking of merch, Teespring. You can check us out there at the Grindhouse, and we have our logos and a bunch of other cool things that you can pick up as stickers, masks, hats, etc., etc. You can like us on Facebook. We actually stream to Facebook as well, so if you're watching us there tonight, definitely hello. And lastly, we'll talk about Gamer Recon, which is our friend Jonathan Reinhardt's wargaming podcast. He is a huge fan of the show. He'll probably be on this evening, I'm sure. And we'll be chatting with him throughout. So you'll probably see us talking to Jonathan in chat. So anyway, that's it for me. Let me go ahead and turn this back over to our game master for the night. Mike, it's all yours, man.
Thank you, James. And here we are, episode 5 of the Curse of Strahd. For those of you who are just joining us or not familiar, Curse of Strahd was an adventure that was produced for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition back in March of 2016. It was originally written by Laura Hickman and Tracy Hickman back in 1983. It was called Ravenloft, and it was such a popular adventure that the Wizards of the Coast decided to produce it again, and Tracy and Laura Hickman helped produce the final copy. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and do a quick round table, or round robin rather, and introduce all the players. I will be playing an NPC tonight. I'll be playing the rogue named Ferris. And with that, I will pass it off to James again. And James, if you could just quickly introduce your character, we'll get started.
All right. Well, I definitely have to change my name on the little cue card down there, but I am playing Texacodal. Texacodal is is a Tabaxi ranger who has come in from the lands of Mazteca through the fog to Ravenloft. He has met the following party who, well, he really, I think, only got to say hi to and then ended up killing things with them. So I think this might actually be a good chance for them to introduce each other more professionally this upcoming episode, but that's it for me.
All right. We'll go ahead and go over to Matt. Matt, why don't you go ahead and introduce your character?
Alrighty. I am playing Julius, a paladin of Helm, god of guardians. I don't know if I'm technically the leader of this group or not, but I don't know. I seem to be leading the charge a lot, so.
You're the meat shield of this group.
I am the tank.
Ooh, double.
All right, perfect. Going on, Greg, why don't you go ahead and introduce your character quickly?
I am Reginald. I am the halfling of the group, and the cleric, more importantly. Yeah, I'm the heal bot. Hi.
And last but definitely not least, Mary, why don't you go ahead?
So I am Breepine Fenwizzle, which you can probably guess from the name, is a gnome. She is a wizard. She doesn't really know why she's where she is. She originally thought it was a prank from her wizard cohorts. She's not completely sure. It's still not a prank going on.
All right. And now a brief recap for those of you that haven't seen all the previous sessions. Our adventurers are magically transported to another world in a swirling, mysterious fog. After encountering each other, they decided to band together. And before too long, they came across a manor with two young children that were pleading for their help. They ventured into what was the Durst Manor, where they had found all sorts of strange creatures rising to attack them. And they managed to defeat the creature in the catacombs and escaped with their lives as the mansion crumbled around them. And that is where we left off. The adventurers are managed to flee from the Durst Manor just as it collapsed, and they find themselves back out on the road once more. So with that introduction, I'll go ahead and start by saying that you guys can see that it is no longer nighttime. It looks like the sun is just starting to come up. You did rest within the catacombs, so you think that it's only been one full night, but honestly, you're not sure. The ruins of the manor are behind you. There's still a cloud of dust that is slowly dissipating. And Reginald, you have just finished performing a proper burial for the two children and the infant child that you found within the manor itself, and you have done the ritual that you normally do in order to pay respects for the dead. And with that said, you guys go ahead and let me know what you plan to do next.
Do we see any other town/buildings in the area? Is there still a heavy fog?
So the sun, it looks like it's just starting to come up. The sky still has a heavy cast, a very heavy pale gray, but it is getting lighter out. So you can see a very the part of the sun is starting to come up over the horizon, but it's not a bright sun. It's more like a dull orangey gray orb that's slowly coming up over the horizon. The fog seems to be receding somewhat, and you can see that it looks like you're in a valley of sorts. You can see on either side of you huge sloping mountain ranges that go all the way up to a peak. And along each side of these mountain ranges is blanketed with heavy trees, coniferous trees like pine and other trees like that. You can see no other buildings in the immediate area. You can definitely see that the path continues down. You're on a well-traveled road. And that's about all you can see in the immediate area.
Carnivorous trees.
Yes, carnivorous trees. I keep my distance so I don't get eaten.
Coniferous, not carnivorous.
Hey guys, maybe we should stick together. I don't really know where we are, and I am a little short for this place. So, what do you say?
I resemble that remark.
Stick together, head down this valley, see where it goes? I mean, there was nothing behind us.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I think, the only
Yeah.
logical thing to do is to stay together, at least for now. Find out where we are. I don't even, this doesn't look familiar to me. This isn't my home. Like, I was in the jungles just hours ago. So I felt like,
I don't think this is any of our homes.
No. I was in a library, having a lovely time studying about some monsters.
Was it perfectly splendid?
It was perfectly splendid. Perfectly.
well, let me see if I can pick up any tracks of anyone walking through the area, and I'll go ahead and scout it out. So I don't know, Game Master, if you want to go ahead and roll survival, or have me roll survival, however you want to do that.
You can go ahead and make a survival roll. That's one of the rolls that it doesn't matter if you know the outcome or not.
Okay, so let me go ahead here and do that. Survival. Where the hell are my skills? I have skills. I know that. Oh, there they are.
Do they pay the bills?
And that's a 19 on the old survival Rooney skill.
Okay, terrific. So you are able to pick out your tracks. You're able to pick out the tracks of the other people that you're with, of course. Not too surprising, you don't see any tracks of the two young children that Rose and Thorn that had first initially greeted you. As you are looking around, you notice a figure has stepped out of the orchard. Doesn't seem to be looking at you particular or any of the other people in the group, and seems to be walking slowly over towards the ruins of what was Durst Manor, almost as if to assess the situation.
How far away?
You guys are all standing on the road. I'd say he's about 30 to 40 feet away.
Does he look solid?
Yes, as far as you can tell, he does look corporal, yes.
That is a fair question.
That is a fair question.
Especially here.
Tez was the first one that noticed the figure, so are you going to do anything in particular?
I'm gonna kind of start backing up and go. There's someone coming. I'm not good with. I'm not. I kind of put my head down, so I'm not really good with talking with people. So maybe one of the more charismatic of you might want to talk to that person.
I will approach the person.
Okay.
Remember, we didn't knock the mansion down. That kind of happened on its own.
So as you start to walk towards the person, you can see that they are dressed in what appears to be a heavy cloak, a heavy wool vest over a shirt or a tunic, a blouse of some kind, wearing heavy breeches, I guess would be the best word for it. And you can see that they have an axe slung on one shoulder. They're wearing a wool cap, and they seem to be nodding almost in satisfaction at the ruins of the building.
So as I approach, I say, well met, friend.
He turns and looks at you, and you can see it is a man that has some very striking features, very angular features, has a very neat goatee around his face. Very piercing eyes. That's one of the first things you notice right away, is he seems to have eyes that meet your gaze very quickly. And he says, "Greetings." He says, "Did you come from inside the manor?"
Well, we were inside the manor, but we didn't come from there.
Did you escape the manor?
Yes, you could say that.
Not-
We were trapped for a bit, but we did escape.
He says, that
Who
is...
might you be?
He says, my name is Vasily. I am a person of this area. Tell me, my
Matt.
friend, you're not familiar. Where are you from?
I am from the area Chandath. This area is unfamiliar to me and my companions.
He says, I do not recognize that name. It sounds like you're from a land far away.
It would seem so. We have all come from different areas and somehow all come together here. We don't even know where here is.
I'm kind of just doing a little semicircle behind Julius, just kind of almost like a slinky animal kind of pace back and forth, kind of staring at him. But I'm not doing it threatening, but just kind of habitual.
Okay. So Matt, there's something about this man that is a little unsettling. You're not sure. You can't put your finger on it. But more importantly, you're not sure why, but he does look familiar to you.
Okay.
You don't know what it is. Maybe he reminds you of somebody. You're not sure.
Is there a roll I can make?
Yes, I just made it.
Oh. Never mind.
James, the one thing that you did notice as you're kind of prowling, looking at him, he has this very rustic look about him. He looks like he's dressed as a woodsman or somebody that spends their time outdoors. The one thing that you find a little unusual are his boots. His boots are what you would expect riding boots. Somebody that, you're from the jungle, but you've heard stories of people that have visited your lands and they were dressed in these fine clothing. And his boots remind you of somebody that would dress like that, not quite regal, but definitely somebody that has a lot of attention paid to their clothing. His boots are very shiny, and you find that a little unusual because it doesn't match the rest of his outfit.
Yeah, I'll as I'm kind of moving around, I'll just kind of say, "Are you a noble? Are you one of the wealthy landowners from here?"
While that's going on, I'm going to use my divine sense and try and see if he shows up as either good or evil.
Evil.
Okie dokie. So, Matt, there's no roll needed for that, right? You just you're able to determine if he's good or evil.
Correct. As long as he is a undead, an outsider, or a dragon, I would know if he's good or evil, and his exact location.
Okay. And can you tell the subtype, or you can only tell undead, or dragon, or celestial, or whatever?
I can only tell the type. It's
okay.
No, the type of being sensed, but not its identity.
Okay, so got it. So he turns while you're sensing with your ability, Matt. He turns and gives you a smile, Tessacodal, and he says, "I am just a lonely, meager woodsman who is curious about a very large noise that I heard, and I came to investigate." Matt, as you sense out to find out more about this person who stands before you, you almost reflexively recoil as the permeation of evil seems to sweep towards you and wash over you like a wave. This man that stands before you is the very definition of evil. You have never felt a strong sense of this by anybody when you've ever used your power. This is an evil undead that you've never encountered before.
All right. I am going to. So the cat's behind me.
Yes.
I'm going to basically put my hand up to like interpose between the cat and this guy, and I'm going to start backing up a little and say, "Well, it was good to meet you. We will be on our way now."
What are you doing, Julius? He's obviously wealthy. He probably has a home somewhere with food and shelter and a map.
Certainly,
perhaps.
he can't be bothered by the likes of us. Then come along.
Just one last question. Is there a port near here? We don't want to bother you. We'll be on our way, but we just want to get home. So can you point us to a port?
So, real quick, while you were saying that, Matt, he looks at you very levelly, like he's staring you in the eyes. His eyes almost seem like they're boring a hole through your head.
Mm-hmm.
And he gives you a smile that reminds you of somebody who was about to sit down and eat a steak. And he turns to you and he says, "There is a small town, a village, if you will, called Barovia. It is just a little further down this road. You will find lodging there and hospitality if you seek it."
Well,
he smiles and then he starts to turn around and he says, "I must return to my work. Good luck."
Well,
And
thank you.
He starts to walk off into the orchard and the mists quickly start to wrap around him.
Wow, what a nice guy, and such nice boots. He must be of somewhat of importance to have boots like that.
Matt, you do notice the boots now as they are brought out to you, and then it clicks. This guy, the person you're looking at, was the same person that was in the catacombs. That statue that you saw in the catacombs of that man standing there with the orb and petting the wolf.
Right.
Without the goatee, it's the same guy. And
Okay.
he's dressed differently, obviously, but it's the boots. It's definitely the same guy, without a doubt. And just as you make that connection, the mists wrap around him and he just disappears into the fog.
if he doesn't have a goatee, how can he be evil?
And look, can an evil person meld into the fog like that? Come on. Like, evil people do evil things, like turn into darkness and bats and chinchillas and things.
What's a chinchilla?
Don't be naive.
So I don't think it's a safe place for us to stay here. So maybe we should get moving down the road towards this Barovia.
That sounds like a nice town, Barovia. It rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
What's the matter?
Wilderness.
Cat, why don't you go scout down the road a little bit?
I have a name, you know. I am not Cat.
No, I don't know.
Look at the sign on my picture. It's,
Depends on if he's wearing a hat or not.
it's Tezzacotl, and you can call me Tez.
Okay, Taz. So, yeah, why don't you scout a little ways down the road and we'll follow after you.
To Barovia! And I'll start moving forward, doing my like low crawl, have my spear out, and
Okay.
To Barovia for justice.
So as you guys are all starting to walk down the road, Julius, you notice that Ferris is still standing at the gate, kind of looking off towards where the manor was, and he hasn't really moved. He hasn't really done anything since you guys left the manor. When you guys all start to walk away from him, he doesn't start to follow. He still is standing looking at the manor.
I turn in his direction and I say, "Ferris, are you coming?"
His back is to you and he does not respond.
Ferris?
He
Pedro,
He suddenly shakes his head and he looks at you and he says, "Yes, of course." And he begins to slowly walk towards you guys.
When he reaches us, I say to him, "Don't feel obligated to accompany us if you don't enjoy our company. But it may be a good idea for us to all stick together for safety."
Safety in numbers and all.
He kind of gives you a look and looks at the rest of the group, and he says, "For now, it seems to make sense to remain together, at least until we reach the next town."
So I wonder how far it is to this town.
Tez is
Well-
still like walking. He hasn't stopped. So
How tall are you, James?
Tez is, I think. Hold on, I can tell you in a second. I think he's a pretty big cat. He is. Let's see. Description. He is 6 feet tall.
Oh, so you're not like giant or anything.
No.
All right. So my legs
Giant
are
for a cat.
short, so you might have to like go a little slower for me.
It's us.
All right. So yeah. So I'll keep looking back. I mean, I don't want to like look back and then suddenly everyone's gone. So
All right. So you create a pace, a walking pace that everyone is able to keep up with. It seems like the only one that's having a little difficulty keeping up is Ferris. He keeps trailing behind, and but besides that, there doesn't seem to be a problem. Everyone seems to be staying together, and as the sun gets higher in the sky, the fog burns away a little bit more, and you have a little bit more sight. You can see a little bit further down the road.
all right. Do I see any?
Julius. Julius, what was up with that huntsman? You started to talk to him and suddenly you seemed hesitant.
He is one of the unliving and very evil.
The unliving? You mean like the dead?
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay. It's not good at all.
No, it is not.
So far in this weird place, we've seen ghosts, ghouls, I don't know,
And other undead.
other sundry. Do you know what kind of undead he was?
No.
This does not bode well for this place.
Agreed. Considering that there's a general sense of evil hanging in the air itself.
I take out a little notebook from underneath my cloak and I sort of flip through it, take a little note on undead in my journal.
Okay, fair enough.
Mike, as I'm moving along and looking, I'm going to see if there's anything like edible plants or edible creatures or anything like that I notice along the way in case, we don't find this Barovia place and we need to, hunt and.
Sure, that's a very good point. You can make a survival roll. For anyone else that doesn't have rations on them, you all notice that now that you're out of extreme danger, you are actually pretty hungry. You can't remember the last time you've eaten anything. So unless you have some food on you, there's no penalty in game. It's just right now you notice that you're hungry and you can't remember the last time you ate something.
All right, I got a 23 on that roll, so obviously I find like a T-bone steak and scallop potatoes.
Oh, if it was only like that lucky, right? You do find some edible mushrooms.
Okay.
You do find some comfrey, which is basically sweet grass that you can eat. That's really about it. There's no fruit-bearing trees. You don't find anything else on the road. No nuts, no tubers, nothing really in the area that you consider nourishment besides a little bit of sweet grass and some mushrooms, and that's
Is
about
it all undead squirrels?
It's very unusual because, especially you, Tescoto, you're used to the cacophony of the jungle. You know, the birds and the animals and the noises that you would normally hear. This area is silent. There's nothing. There's nothing except for maybe the sound of the wind. Besides that, you hear no birds. You see no creatures, no animals. It's like completely devoid.
All right. Well, I'll start collecting the mushrooms and the sweetgrass and putting them like in a pouch, so later on I can share it with everyone. But I'll keep pick it up and then keep moving, because finding some sort of shelter. Is it cold? Is it hot?
Now that the sun has come out, it was kind of damp. I would say definitely you're covered with fur, so for you it was, but you're in the jungle. So yes, anything beyond like 80 degrees for you is cold. But yes, it was cold enough that the rest of your party, you could see them wrapping their cloaks around them. But now that it's day out and the sun is up, it's probably around 65, 70 degrees. So it's not crazy hot. For you, that's still cold. But
yeah, that's way cold for me.
Yeah, it's
perfect.
It's temperate. It's temperate for everybody else.
All right. So yeah, I'll keep collecting and keep going forward. And if I see anything, I'll tell the party to stop.
So if you continue picking up as you go things on the roadside and whatnot, you have enough for one meager meal. It's definitely not enough for everybody, but you have enough to basically feed one person with what you found so far.
As we're walking, I eat some of my hardtack from my rations.
Okay.
Question. More of a game question. I have an Outlander background. And it says one of the features is, let's see, excellent memory for maps, can always recall the layout of terrains. In addition, you can find food and fresh water for yourself and up to 5 people each day, provided the land offers berries, small game, water, and so forth.
Okay.
I'm not sure how exactly you want to work that. Does it just happen? Do I have to roll for it? Whatever you say is...
No, I think if you just tell me that you're actively looking for food, I don't think there's a role necessary. Unfortunately, under the circumstances, there's just not a lot of kind of what I hinted at when I was telling Tez. There's just not a lot of food to be found. So if you're also looking around,
I will actively be looking.
Okay, then you can also find some grass, some edible mushrooms that are not poisonous. Again, there's not a lot there, but it's enough to keep you nourished. It'd be enough to keep you going.
Any water?
Yes, fresh water isn't that difficult to find. You guys are able to find a small stream not nearby, and the water seems to be cold but clear and drinkable.
How long have we been walking at this point?
You guys have been walking for about maybe 30 minutes, and you're now coming up crest of the hill. And as you come up to the top of the hill, you can see that the hill slopes down into a small valley, and below you, you can see a small village, probably about 400 buildings. You can see them situated down in the valley of these 3 hills, and you can see the mountain peaks rise above them on either side of the village itself. There's a sign on the ground next to you that is weather beaten and worn. It looks like it had been knocked over, and the paint has faded away almost to the point where you can't read it, and the wood is splintered, but it does say on it in very clear letters, Barovia.
Does it happen with like a flash of lightning? No, just kidding.
No. But the one thing that you do notice, Tez, since you're in the lead, you're kind of leading everybody along, is up behind this village, up on the mountain peak, you can see a very faint silhouette of what appears to be a castle or a manor or some kind of building that rests on the peak of this mountain. You can see several towers on this castle, with one long one that seems to jut into the sky. And when you see it for the first time, you almost feel a sense of dread when you look at it. Like you see that castle and you're like, oh, that can't be good. The castle sits high above the Barovia, and the village obviously sits all the way at the base there. You guys are on the outskirts of the town, and you can see some very meager-looking vegetable patches, but you guys are still a little bit further. You need to walk before you actually get into the town itself.
All right. Well, I mean, I'll look back once I'm at kind of the apex of the hill, and I'll look back and I'll tell everybody, kind of signal them, and just kind of signal like, get down, come up slowly, and you see me crouching and kind of looking over the hill.
Okay.
I just sort of walk up because I'm still pretty small.
Okay, fair enough. Anyone doing anything in particular as you come up over the crest of this hill?
So the question is, did I understand his hand motions?
I don't know. That is up to you to decide.
Or you could perceptualize him. I'm going to be looking to see if I can see any people moving around in the village.
Okay, I'll make a perception roll for you. Yes, it looks like it's hard to see from this distance, but yes, you can see small figures that appear to be walking on the streets or, kind of peering in and out from buildings. It doesn't look like they've seen you or noticed you at this distance, but yes, you notice that there are people walking around.
So, Mike, when Tez does the whole hand motion thing, I wave to him and continue walking like normal.
Okay.
I rolled an insight and got a 9. I didn't understand what you were trying to convey.
Well,
What are you doing? There's like people down there, and who knows what you're talking about? Evil.
It's a village. I hope there's people down there.
So maybe we need to set up some predefined hand signals, like means stop.
That wouldn't be a bad idea. How far, once we're on the crest of the hill, how far is it to the village?
So you're on the crest of the hill. There's a sloping hill that goes down into the village proper. Oh, I don't know. I'd say you guys are probably about 200 yards away, maybe 300 yards.
Okay. So I say, well, as of right now, I don't think we need to worry about it. If we don't feel that we're safe there, we can just walk away. But yes, coming up with hand signals would probably be a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying, get down.
Okay.
And yeah, we'll work on it.
Yes.
All right, let's.
So for the rest of you, if I didn't make a point of mentioning it, you all notice as well, besides Tezcotl, you notice that there is a ominous-looking castle that is perched high on a mountaintop overlooking the town of Barovia.
Can we get an idea of how high up it is?
It looks pretty decent. It looks like to actually try and climb up the mountain wouldn't be a simple task. It would take you some time. Probably, it's hard to say at this distance, but based on the elevation, it would be an undertaking. It wouldn't be an easy task.
Okay.
Okay. Do you guys continue down into the town itself?
I guess at this point, yeah.
Well, I look at Tez and say, well, you wanted us to be cautious, so what do you think?
Well, now that you're standing here in your metal armor, I mean, I guess we'll go down.
Okay. I just got a couple of questions before you guys venture. Does anyone have their weapons drawn?
No.
No, I haven't. Well, I've been carrying my spear out in my hand, but if we're going to go into a village, I'll probably put it on my back.
Okay.
I don't have a pencil on me.
I have my finger out.
Okay. So I'll take it. Nobody has any drawn weapons in their hands.
I pull all of my weapons and I wield them all at the same time.
Right.
I'm not good enough at art, so I really can't draw.
Now, Matt, does your character normally have the visor up or down when you
Down.
are not? So it's always down.
Yeah. And
Okay.
it doesn't, there's no visor. It's the helmet. It's either on or off.
So, well, I guess my question is does it obstruct your facial features? I mean, can people see
Yes.
your face without
No.
your okay. All right.
Do you not remember what my picture looked like?
Well, I didn't want to take anything literally. I wanted to make sure that, your picture was an actual accurate representation. So,
Yep.
okie
I
dokie.
think you still have it. Just hit your stop camera button and it'll show what your picture looks like.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you approach, you can see that a lot of the buildings are made of wood. It appears that there are what I would call Tudor fashion, so exposed beams, white plaster walls along that line.
Oh, Tudor.
Yeah, I thought he said two-door.
Yeah.
Not two doors. Tudor. So you do see people walking amongst the cobbled streets. As you are walking down the road, the people that do notice you begin to immediately walk away from you. They're not running, but as you approach, you can see that they immediately begin to walk away from you.
Like when you see somebody shady and they cross the street.
Uh-oh. Did we just lose Matt?
We just lost Matt.
We just lost the paladin. I'm sure he'll be back on in a second.
Okay, we'll give him
There he goes. I see him starting to... He should be on any moment now. And there we go. Let him back in. There we are.
No, but now he's in the wrong place.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, no. There you go. There's my helmet.
Got it.
Ah,
Oh, that looks like it's got a visor that lifts up.
It does
Quiet
look like
you.
there's a visor that whips up.
Quiet you.
Well, considered welded shut.
Well, that's why I was asking questions about the visor.
No, it does not open.
so
All right.
Julius, you need to come in singing Bonjour. I mean,
Bonjour.
I think that's a very obscure reference to Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah. No one eats like Gaston. No
That's
one
right.
sleeps like Gaston.
Squeeps. Those
It's a French
crazy.
word. You wouldn't understand.
Everyone, I'm trying to while people are sort of walking away, I was like, excuse me, pardon me, is there a market? Hello, pardon me, excuse me. Does anybody answer?
It doesn't seem like either they hear you or they're doing their best to ignore you. You're not sure which. So all the buildings look weathered and worn. You can see the plaster is cracked and falling in some places, and you can see shutters are hanging off of the buildings. Everything seems to have a very worn and aged look about it. The wood is very splintered. And you are walking down you're walking down the main road of the town itself, or the village, and a lot of the buildings seem to be simple peasant houses. You can notice right away that even though it's daytime, everyone has their shutters closed and the doors are also closed as well. You don't see a whole lot of people out in the streets, just a couple, and the few that you do see, as Repine noticed, seem to retreat quickly as you approach.
Do you see anything that looks like an inn?
I'm sorry, say again?
Do we see anything that looks like an inn?
An inn. Oh, an inn.
An inn, a pub, hotel, hostel.
You do see
Yeah, they probably look very hostile.
You do see a sign in the distance that is hanging on the left side of the street. As you approach, you can make out faded letters. The sign says Bildrath's Mercantile.
So
And it
not an inn.
slowly swings in the wind.
Well, we don't know what they call things in this land. I mean, mercantile here maybe that's where they have inns, in the mercantile buildings.
So, Mike, I am going to attempt to stop somebody and ask them about an inn.
Okay.
Pardon me, good sir.
He stops. He says, What is it?
Is there an inn in this village?
He kind of recoils away from you, like almost like he's acting like you're about to hit him. And he says, There is, just a little further down, to the right of the mercantile. And he starts taking a couple steps away from you.
Thank you, good sir. And I turn away from him.
He quickly scurries away without another word.
They're afraid of your helmet.
Apparently. Off to the inn.
Only afraid of our something.
Well, I mean, there's not only like a 6-foot cat walking with you, but that
Does the
happens.
inn look like it has a tavern attached?
So as you guys progress further down, you come to what I would call the town square. You can see to your immediate left is a large building with several windows. Of course, everything is shuttered, but the door is open. The sign, as I said before, says Bill Drath's Mercantile. It is a 2-story structure. To the immediate right, on the other side of the road, you can see an inn, and the sign is very faded, but it says Blood of the Vine Tavern. It looks like somebody scribbled out the word "of" and wrote something else on the sign itself. The sign isn't hanging, and the sign is actually posted on the ground.
What a friendly sounding place.
It is a 2-story structure. So, Brepine, you think it looks like it's more than just a tavern. It looks like it might, tavern implies there might be places to stay.
Is the door open or closed?
The door is open. You do see people in the square. Nobody immediately next to you. Everyone is off in the distance, and they are in small, tight little clusters, and they seem to be peering and whispering and looking at you guys, and then kind of going and whispering amongst themselves in a tight little group.
That's the only building in the area that has its door open?
The only 2 buildings that have their doors open would be the Blood on the Vine Tavern does have the door open, and Bill Drath's Mercantile also has the door open. Those are the only 2 commercial buildings that you can see right away in the town proper. All the other buildings look like they are private residences, and the doors are closed and the windows are shuttered.
Let's go in the mercantile first and feel it out a little bit. I mean, sometimes taverns have big thugs in them, and the local shop is maybe a little less likely to have that.
I am going to go into the tavern, into the inn, and procure us some rooms. If you want to explore the mercantile first and then join me, that's fine.
No, I guess as long as you're going in there first.
We should establish, well, the tavern's usually a place of central gathering, so we can at least see what tribes gather here and then find out from there. After you, Tin Man.
I enter the inn.
Okay. So you can see that this is a... oh, by the way, as you're walking past the sign, it looks like instead of saying Blood of the Vine, it looks like somebody scratched out "of" and wrote in something. It looks like a penknife or something. They wrote "on." So Blood on the Vine Tavern.
That doesn't sound like a good idea.
So who is entering the tavern? Are you all entering as a group, or is it just Julius?
I'm right behind Julius.
I'm right behind.
Very good. So you enter, you can see that it is a large open area. The building's probably 60 feet squared. You can see several tables are situated about the room. There is a fire ring that is in the center of the room itself, with a large metal chimney that seems to funnel all the smoke out of the building. There's a very low fire in the mostly coals, just a bed of coals in the actual fire ring. To the left, you can see a long bar, and you can see a bartender or the merchant who is standing behind the bar. You can see one person seated at the bar. Immediately to the right, as you walk in, you can see in a very dark corner, there are three women that have shawls that are pulled up over them. You can kind of see their faces, and they are all huddled around a single camera. They are all huddled around a single candle, and they seem to be staring at you intently as you all enter.
I figured they were watching on their phones.
Yes, they are furiously tapping on their phones as you all enter. There is the bartender or the barkeep sees you all enter. His eyes kind of look astonished, and he says something that you don't recognize. It sounds like a language you don't understand. The one word that he does say that you have heard before is he says lichen, and he starts to grab for something underneath the bar.
I approach him.
Okay. As you approach, he has brandished a short sword, and he's backing up against the wall, and he says, the lichen.
Is this how you greet all of your guests?
So he looks absolutely petrified. He looks like he is literally about to meet his maker, as they say. Before anyone else has a chance to act, there is another man that I mentioned before that's seated at the bar. He stands up and he says, Eric, please stay your hand. That is no way to treat visitors. And you can see the man slowly put his weapon down. And he approaches you, Julius, and he says, you must forgive the barkeep. He is a little edgy. Times have been very difficult lately. He gestures towards Tezzacotl. He says, the appearance of your friend reminds him of creatures that have been savaging our woods recently. And so he made the false assumption that your friend was one of them.
I see.
Oh, so Deliken isn't a greeting, like Deliken.
No, he was saying lichen, lycanthrope, werewolf.
Oh.
Not lichen like the stuff that grows on a rock.
No. He thought your friend was part of the lycanthropes. Very dangerous in this area. But please forgive me. Let us make a proper introduction. My name is Ismark. I am very pleased to meet you, and it looks like you have traveled a long way. Please, won't you make yourself comfortable? Have a seat. Eric, drinks and food for our new guests. Make sure that they have anything that they would like. It is, of course, on me. It is the least I can do for such a abrupt introduction.
Thank you, Ismark. I am Julius, Paladin of Helm.
He nods and smiles. He says, a noble warrior. And he looks at Tezzacotl and says, and you are?
I am Tezzacotl of the Jaguar people of Maztica.
Well, it is a pleasure to meet you, Tezzacotl. Please forgive my friend's abruptness, but we have not seen anyone to the likes of you before. Where is this place, Maztica?
It is a far-off land where we still respect the ways of our ancient ones, and we worship the cat goddess.
He nods. He says, well, you are welcome here, and you are welcome to have to eat and drink as much as you would like. And he turns and says, and you two, what is your names? And he turns to you, Breepine, and says, my name is Ismark, and you are?
Oh, I'm Breepine. So
he smiles. He says, are you one of the forgive me for my words are probably not proper. Are you one of the little folk? Is that right?
Oh, we prefer gnome.
Gnomes, yes, of course.
Yeah.
I think we've seen gnomes before. It has been quite a while, but I think I remember seeing a gnome come into Barovia, at least on one occasion. And he turns to Reginald and says, and you are you a gnome as well?
My name is Reginald. I am a halfling.
Ah, of course, yes. I remember halflings. They also have. It has been a while, but they have been to Barovia as well. Please, sit down.
No problem. Nice to meet your acquaintance.
So Ismark is kind of giving you all a level stare. He's not like he's trying to figure out if you guys are friends or not friends, and he's like, we have some roasted pheasant that we have just cooked. Would you like to have some?
Yes.
How much is the roast pheasant today?
Ismark goes, oh, no. I must insist. It is anything that you have today I will be paying for. It is my gift of hospitality to you.
Well, thank you, sir. I will definitely have some pheasant.
I will have dead bird as well.
You like to draw.
And he says, Eric kind of just nods. He's been cleaning a glass. He places the glass down, and he says, I'll be right back. And he goes off and turns around the corner. The three women in the room are all in the back, and you can hear them kind of just whispering, but they haven't approached you, and they haven't really done much since you've entered. And Ismark says, so tell me, please, Julius, are you from Maztika as well?
I am not. I am from Chondoth.
Chondoth. No, I have not heard of that land. It must be far away, much well beyond Barovia.
I suspect so.
And Reginald, are you from either of those places, or perhaps somewhere else?
I'm from a place called the Methwoods.
Oh, interesting. And Brepine, what about you? Where do you hail from?
Oh, sort of here and there, and any place that has a library.
Oh, well, unfortunately, I'm sorry to tell you that Barovia's library burned down many years ago. But if you crave knowledge, I can definitely see if maybe perhaps we can find some books or something that you might have your interest.
Oh, if you had any history of Barovia, that might be interesting. What about up at the big house there? They've got to have some kind of good library.
He looks puzzled and says, big house?
The castle on the hill.
So as you say castle on the hill, you can see Eric has come back into the room. And as soon as you say castle on the hill, he drops the plate and you hear it hits the ground with a loud crash.
Oh, dear. You do have a slightly clumsy help, don't you?
Eric kind of looks at the ground and he mutters a curse under his breath. You don't catch it. And he says, forgive me. I'll be right back. And he goes out of the room. And Ismark says, yes, the castle on the hill. That is Ravenloft Castle. And if you value your life, you will not venture towards that castle. I would recommend staying far away.
Really?
Yes.
Can
It's not a safe place to go.
Tezcatlipoca will actually pick up the stuff that hit the floor, because 30-second rule and all, and put it on the table, because his culture, if you drop food on the floor, you just kind of dust it off and it's good as new.
You guys
Okay.
want to
Are
jump
you
to the floor?
are you going to put it back on the? He had like a large pewter plate, and he didn't take the plate back with him. Actually, he did. He took the plate with him back into the kitchen. So are you just picking up bits and pieces and putting them on the bar?
Yeah,
Okay, fair
that's
enough.
what I'm doing.
I call back to him, just bring me a half portion. I don't eat that much.
He says, yes, you would be wise to stay away from that castle.
Who lives there?
Why?
That castle is home to a man, the Baron of this land. His name is, and Ismark shakes his head and says, do not mention his name. And Ismark says, his name is, and he says kind of in a low voice, Strahd.
Oh, that's an interesting name.
Yes. He has been a baron for a long time, and he has lived in that castle. But anyway, let us not dwell on the Baron. Let us talk of other more happier things.
Well, what is it that makes it so dangerous?
The women in the back of the room have stopped talking, and they seem like they're very intent on listening to what your conversation is going around. You can see Eric has come out, and you can see that a fine sheen of sweat is on his bald head now, and he is putting down plates in front of everybody. He looks a little confused at the small pile of food in front of you, Tezzacotl, but he puts another plate in front of you anyway and kind of just mutters under his breath and quickly walks out of the room. As he walks away, he makes some kind of religious sign. It doesn't, obviously doesn't make sense to you, but you can see that he does something, I would say the sign of the cross, but it's not the sign of the cross. It's similar to that, some kind of religious invocation that he makes. And then he walks away again.
Yeah, Tezzacotl will mimic it because, he's like, oh, maybe this is like the way they say thank you in our land. So
I turn to the three women and say, if you're so interested, come over and join us.
They all kind of just smile and they nod at you like they either don't understand what you're saying or they're considering your option. Yeah.
That's nice, crazy lady.
Now in the
Room
meantime,
for one more.
So, Briefheim, while you're looking at the ladies, you notice that Ferris has come with you into the room, but he hasn't come over to the bar. He's basically sat down next to the fire ring, and he's staring into the fire, and he's absentmindedly just poking at the fire with a small stick that he picked up next to the fire.
Does he say anything profound?
Ferris seems to be quietly muttering or mumbling or talking to himself. You're not sure which.
Okay.
If you want, you can try and listen to see what he's saying, but he's talking in a low voice.
I'm eating what's on the counter.
Okay.
He's contemplating his navel.
The food actually tastes pretty good. It tastes like they had put some seasoning of some kind on the pheasant, and it's not bad. It's not something that you would have made, but it doesn't taste bad. I'm kind of actually, not to get too tracked here. Does your culture, James, would they cook food or would they just eat it raw?
No, they would cook food. They'd spitfire stuff. We're not that primitive. And then I would grab 2 rocks and bang them together.
No, you're cat though, so you might just enjoy raw food because those cooked chicken bones can splinter and kill you.
That's racist.
No, speciesist.
There you go.
All right, so Matt, back to what was the question that you asked him?
I had asked him what makes it so dangerous.
Strahd is a very cruel man. He is not a very good ruler. The people of Barovia and the people of the land have not benefited from his rule. And
why have you not overthrown him?
He kind of looks down at his glass and he looks at you and he says, some have tried, many have failed.
By the way,
succeeded.
Do you own this tavern?
No. He smiles. No, I do not. This is not my tavern. This is just a place that I frequent.
So is Eric the owner?
No. He does not own the tavern. Actually, the owners are the 3 women behind me, seated at the table.
Oh.
I get up and I walk over to them.
Okay. They are in the corner and they seem to be having a very hushed conversation. And as you walk over to them with your, booted feet, they stop and they look at you and they stare at you intently as you walk over. You notice as you get closer, they are triplets. They are identical triplets, all probably in their 50s, you would imagine. You guess somewhere in their mid 50s.
Twins, Basil. Twins.
Did you take your helmet off in here?
Nope. Well met, lady. I was wondering about purchasing rooms for me and my companions.
The one in the middle looks at you and says, "How many rooms do you wish to purchase?"
Well, there are 5 of us. Therefore, 5 rooms.
"And how many nights do you want to have these rooms?"
That is an excellent question. One to which I don't have a solid answer. But why don't we begin with 2?
2 nights. And the other one to the right of her says, "And do you have the gold?"
How much would it be?
They look at each other, and they kind of nod, and one kind of holds up 2 fingers, and one shakes his head, and they turn and look at you and say, 2 gold pieces for 3 rooms.
3 rooms, not 5.
Oh, wait, sorry. I was thinking 2 gold pieces for 5 rooms for 3 nights.
For 3 nights.
They all seem to nod.
Sounds like a bargain. I take out the money. I count the money.
You
Monet, de Monet.
you finally you give them 2 gold.
2 gold.
They both quickly pick up the gold pieces and they hold it up to the candle and they say, "This gold is not from this land. This is a gold coin I do not recognize. Where does it come from?"
This is from a land called Chandoth.
One of the women kind of takes it and kind of bites into it a little bit. And they all kind of turn and look at each other, and then one of them nods, says, "Very well. Talk to Eric. He will give you the keys and show you the rooms."
Excellent. Thank you, ladies. I walk back over. Is Eric in the back still, or did he come out?
No, he's come out front. He's still sweating a little bit. He looks a little uncomfortable. He's cleaned up the mess, and now he's gone back to cleaning glasses.
I'm surprised Tex wasn't over there licking the floor.
He already said he's not a savage.
Or at least not that much of a savage.
Or not that much of a savage.
So I approach Eric and I say to him, "Eric, I purchased 5 rooms. The ladies have said that you will provide us the keys and show us to them."
He kind of looks over your shoulder at the ladies and then looks back and he nods. "Fair enough. Whenever you're ready to go to your rooms, I will show you where they are."
I would
Thank
like
you.
a beverage.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
I would like a beverage.
Ismark says, "Oh, yes, of course. Eric, please, wine or ale, whatever the lady prefers."
I think I will have wine.
Ismark says, "I'd like to let you know that wine is locally grown and is one of the finest that we can offer in all of Barovia."
I'll be the test of that.
So they put a large glass goblet in front of you and they pour very dark red wine into it.
I
And
sort of look at the color, sniff it carefully, take a little sip around in my mouth.
both Eric and Ismark are waiting patiently for your response.
Yes, slightly acidic, a little sweetness, dry on the back of the tongue. I find it acceptable.
They both kind of nod with satisfaction. It is actually, as far as you can tell, it's pretty decent wine. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's pretty decent wine.
What are you doing?
They both smile and nod.
My wine. Do you want some as well?
Yes, give me.
They pour you a glass as well.
And I just like, because I have like a cat face, so I'm just like,
I don't know if you've ever had wine before. Has your character ever had wine?
I've probably had some sort of like fermented fruit.
Jungle
So
Yeah.
jumbo
Oh.
juice.
Jungle juice.
Oh,
You didn't make jungle juice as a teenager?
jungle juice kind of sounds like something you do with malt liquor.
No, jungle juice is when everybody steals as much liquor out of your parents' cabinet as you can, and then you mix everything together. Obviously, I was the most recalcitrant team.
It's a family show. You're giving the audience bad ideas.
So yeah, I'm drinking my wine probably very oddly.
Cat-like?
Yeah.
Yeah, then when he's done with the gobbler, he knocks it off the table.
With my paws.
So Ismark says to you, so tell me, Julius, how much of Barovia and the country have you seen since you've been here?
Not much at all. We approached we came from the road to the, what direction was it? South? East?
You guys were the sun was coming up and you guys were walking towards the town. So the sun was coming up towards you, so you would be walking easterly, I think. Hang on, hold on. Let me check the map.
We'll go with that.
Hey, man, just because on Earth the sun comes up in the east doesn't mean it does in Barovia.
Very good point. You were walking westerly towards Barovia.
So
I would imagine in Barovia, the sun comes up like in Toontown.
So I say we came from the eastern road, and we passed a small manor along the way.
He kind of stops. He's drinking and he stops abruptly and he says, "A manor? What type of manor did you see?"
Durst Manor.
He looks astonished. He says, "Did you enter the Durst Manor?
We did.
Yes. It was most
And-
unfortunate.
You survived."
We did.
Unfortunately, the manor did not.
Yes.
He says, "Please tell me what happened to the manor."
We destroyed it.
I would
Well,
exactly say we destroyed it.
who didn't destroy
It
it?
destroyed itself.
Semantics. We were so awesome and so powerful that it couldn't withstand the force of us decimating the doom in there.
That is some strong alcohol.
To translate, we put the children to rest and it collapsed the house.
He nods. He looks visibly impressed. He says, "I must admit, there's been many that have come through Barovia, but very few, if any, have actually visited the manor and have lived to tell the tale." He says, "Very remarkable." Are you considered formidable warriors in your lands? Are you perhaps heroes of great renown?
Yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
He nods like he's impressed.
I am considered a wizard of the 3rd rank, versed in formidable spells, and I cast a minor illusion and turn myself into a facsimile of Tez.
Both the bartender and Ismark look very impressed. They're like, there are very few that have mastered the art of magic, and few in the lands of Barovia that can even possess such a skill.
Yes.
When someone asks if you're a god,
Yeah.
He says, he kind of nods with satisfaction, and he says, well, unless you have any other questions for me, I'll leave you to your meal. I have something I need to tend to, but I'll be back shortly. Perhaps you'll still be here.
Well,
We will, and I do have more questions, but that can wait.
I just have one quick question before you go. Since
course.
you were interested in heroes, are you interested in hiring heroes for anything? We seem to be at 6s and 7s. So,
He nods. He says, I am actually looking for several heroes. I am in need of somebody that has great fortitude and great resolve. If you are up to the task, it is not an easy one. But I promise you that I will reward you with whatever you desire, whatever I can afford.
I do enjoy it when we are hired for those easy tasks. But I suppose if you need a hero, we could try. Well, at least I could try. I would hope that everyone else would come with me.
It is something to consider while you have your meal. I will leave you to talk amongst yourselves. I will be back shortly. And if I may, I will excuse myself. And he stands up and he says, it was a pleasure meeting you all. I shall return. And he quickly walks out of the bar, or tavern rather, leaving you all to your own devices, as they say.
I turn to the group and I say, perhaps before we make any decisions, we should find out what it is he needs.
I agree.
That would be a smart thing to do.
Brie pine?
That is some strong wine.
Apparently.
We're here. We probably are going to have to. Well, I don't know about you guys. I don't have a lot of cash, so I might need to be making a little coin if it's going to cost a lot to take a ship home.
Yes,
So-
that's part of what I want to talk to him about when he returns, is trying to find out how we would return home.
Okay.
Since he seems to be somewhat knowledgeable of the area.
What is this talk of heroes asking for money to do things? Heroes are heroes. They do as heroic people do.
Well, apparently Brie Pine is not a hero, but a mercenary.
Oh, I've heard of them.
When do heroes have to heroize for free? I mean, there is no written rule that says you have to go out
That
and
is strong
dragon
wine.
for nothing, right? I mean, generally, if you go out and kill the dragon, you're doing it for at least a cut of the dragon's hoard.
If we kill a dragon in my land, we kill it so it doesn't eat other people of the tribes.
Oh, so you just leave his hoard there?
Dragons have hordes?
Savage.
You are the savage, swirling wine around in your mouth and eating with utensils.
So Ferris has approached the bar, and he looks at Brie Pine and he says, "I'll have what she's having." And Eric pours him a glass of wine, and he turns around without another word and walks back to the fireplace. Okay, so
Apparently the experience at the manor house was more traumatic for Ferris than we originally thought.
Yeah.
It was pretty intense, but
It was. But I'd say we all made it through fairly intact.
Yes. I'm amused that one of our followers basically is saying that Papa Smurf was a mercenary, which I guess I can see.
All right. Interesting.
All right then.
Definitely an interesting perspective on Papa Smurf. I mean, I thought all the Smurfs had Tourette's because they kept saying Smurf, but that's just me. All right, so you guys all have your meal. Is there anything else you guys talk about, or should I say that Ismark returns? Is there anything else you guys want to discuss before he returns, I guess?
Well, I tell everybody a little bit more about myself and my studies as a wizard, and talk it up a little bit.
Okay.
I am the greatest.
Float like a butterfly, sing like a bee.
Yes. And I keep using my minor illusion and changing myself into everybody. So like 1 minute I'm Julius, the next minute I'm Reginald.
Okay.
Then I'm Ferris. So
the barkeep, as you continue to drink from your glass, the barkeep continues to come over and refill your glass as you're drinking. And it's the same with all of you. He will, as you're drinking from your glasses, he will come over and refill your glass without you asking for it.
We shouldn't dull our wits.
I am sharpening my wits. With each sip, I become more eloquent. I become more creative.
I think there's
Tell us about that.
I think there's a 12-step program for that.
No.
All right. So you guys spend this time basically getting to know each other, trying to figure out where you're from and stuff like that.
Pretty much.
What's that?
I come from my prowess.
Watching Bree Pine get a little tipsy.
A little?
Well, actually, there's a roll for that. Bree Pine, why don't you go ahead and make a roll for me? We'll find out how tipsy you are.
All right.
And that was just from half a glass.
You want a Constitution saving throw?
Yeah, that sounds like it's appropriate.
Boing. 11.
11.
Worst.
You're not too bad. I mean, you haven't had a whole lot of food, so you're a little tipsy, but you're not ready to fall off your stool yet.
I'll make sure I eat some of my pheasant.
You're dead
Okay.
bird.
Let me know if anyone else is doing anything else but socially drinking.
I am neither eating nor drinking.
Okay, that's right. You ate your hardtack, which tastes as good as it sounds.
Yep.
So, fair enough.
I'm eating and drinking, but not trying to do it to excess. Although the bones of the pheasant are quite tasty, and I will continue to suck the marrow out of them and be obnoxious doing it.
All right.
And we all know what that sounds like.
Yeah.
You have my approval.
Crunch, slurp, 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 crunch, slurp, slurp, slurp.
I've never heard that sound ever in my entire life.
So, Tessicola, you can see that the barkeep, Eric, seems to watch you with grim fascination. He's trying to, be discreet about it, but he's not doing a good job. He's watching you devour the bones, and he's kind of staring at you intently while you're doing it.
I'll make a show of it. I mean, honestly, in my culture, drinking the marrow of your kill is pretty important. So, I'll just sit there and just kind of chew and look at him and
So what
offer
you're
him
saying
some.
is, so what you're saying is you're acting like me.
Yeah, except that he'll actually break the bone, one of the larger bones at some point, and offer it to the person staring at him.
Yeah, I would never do that.
Yeah.
No, he quickly walks away when he realizes that he's making a show of him watching you. And he kind of, at some point, he comes over to you, Julius, and he says, "Are you sure he's not a lichen?"
Honestly, no.
He kind of nods knowingly.
That kind of wink, like,
He didn't show up evil. Like
Do you
when
think-
you.
Do you say that to the barkeep?
I would at a game. I wouldn't know. He wouldn't show up evil to me. He's not undead or
Yeah, but I don't know that either.
yeah.
For all I know, you just can tell whoever's evil or not.
I don't even know Julius is a paladin, so that
Why? He keeps wandering
Even
around.
though
I'm a paladin.
I've mentioned it several times.
I'm a paladin.
Not sure if you caught that, James. He has said, "I am a paladin of Torm." So,
Oh, okay.
That doesn't exactly mean he knows what a paladin
No,
is.
sorry.
Yeah, that's true. I don't even know what I may not even know what a paladin is. So
that is your call, sir.
that's that Western
Roll
talk.
insight. Roll insight, James.
All right, can I roll that myself, Mike?
Yeah, that's something you can roll yourself.
All right.
Check your thingies. I'm not sure if that's one you have.
I actually do have it, and I have it as a proficiency.
Whoop, whoop,
And I roll a 19.
whoop,
Oh
whoop.
yeah. So you've had there has been adventuring groups or people from distant lands that have come to your, have come to your land, have come to Mastika. So you know them as holy warriors, but yes, you know what a paladin is. When somebody
Okay.
introduces them as a paladin, in your mind that translates to holy warrior. So
That was perception. Insight. Insight is one of the ones he rolls. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Next time.
So then I'll probably change my tune a little bit about that and said, all right, well, we're in a strange place, so I'll trust your word. Crunch, crunch, crunch.
you do know that just based on previous experiences that these holy warriors are men of honor and decency and good, and if they say something or promise something, that they will do everything in their power to fulfill that. So if they give you their word, that is as good as a life debt. They will uphold that word until their dying breath. So at least that's the experiences that you've had up to this point. This is
Unless,
a man.
of course, if you're from Mastika, in which case, the Paladins of Helm invaded your homeland.
Yeah,
But
correct.
anyway,
Conquistador!
So Ismar comes back and he says, "Now I know, my friends, that you have only been here a short period of time, and it's probably you'll probably need to take some time to get your bearings. But if you can help me, I would appreciate your help. And as I said before, I'd be willing to pay you handsomely for your efforts."
perhaps you could tell us what it is that you would expect of us.
Does this have anything to do with that lycanthrope problem you were talking about before?
No. Unfortunately, it does not have anything to do with the lycanthropes. This has to do with my sister, Irina. He kind of looks around at the room and he says, "I suspect that Count Strahd has visited her on at least 2 occasions. He has come to her residence, and I am worried that he will return a 3rd time."
So, are you thinking he's doing something not family friendly? Or do you think he's just going over and having afternoon tea?
He kind of looks uncomfortable. I think he's trying to convert my sister against her will.
So, he runs a cult.
Yes,
Mm.
a cult of sorts. He is a man that should not be trusted and preys on the innocent.
Well, I'm anti-cult. That sounds so. You want us to like not let him into your sister's house or something?
I suspect that he might decide to come back again, and he might come back tonight. If you can help me defend her,
No.
I would be indebted to your efforts. And like I said, anything that I can give you would be yours.
And what god does this cult worship?
He kind of looks around the room. They worship something called the Dark Powers.
Well, that sounds ominous.
Yes, it does.
He nods. It is a group of beings, of gods that are not good gods. They do not wish to help anyone, including their own. They are dangerous. And the people that follow them are people that are only thirsty for power. I do not know what he wants with my sister and why he is interested in her, but I suspect that he will be back and will take her forcibly if he needs to. And she's changed. There's something about her that isn't the same, and I worry about her. But that's something I don't understand, and I can't deal with for right now. For right now, I just want to try and keep her safe.
So, what time do you need the help? Obviously tonight, but like, are we talking starting at 7:30, midnight?
Shortly before the sun, shortly before the moon comes up over the mountains. So about 9 o'clock, 9 or 10 o'clock at night.
So what time is it now? Out of character.
You're guessing probably sometime between 9 and 12 in the morning.
Remember, we have a full day ahead of us.
Yeah. Remember, the sun was coming up as the manor had collapsed. So.
Well, I was just thinking if I need to take a nap to.
That's probably not a bad idea, regardless.
It's been a while. You guys had a rest, a long rest, but it wasn't a very good one, and that was quite a while ago.
So, I will say to what's the guy's name? Begins like
Ismark.
I was thinking Ishtar, and I'm like, that's not it. So, Ismark, would you mind if we conferred as a team for a moment?
He says, of course. I want you to consider this, and if you feel that this is something that you cannot do, then I understand perfectly. I will leave you to talk amongst yourselves and make a decision without me influencing it. I'll be over here next to the fire talking to your other friend, I suppose.
Maybe.
He should probably be involved in this conversation, no?
Perhaps if he is involved, then yeah, I will send him over. So he goes over and he kind of taps Ferris on the shoulder, and then he taps Ferris on the shoulder again, and Ferris kind of looks up at him and he motions that you guys want to talk to him, and he walks over. He puts his empty wine glass down on the bar, and he says, "I'll have another." And the bartender walks over and fills his glass.
So, this does seem to be a way to make some money.
Yes. More importantly, it's a way to try and hinder this dark cult.
It's always a good thing.
Not sure that's more important, but
A matter of perspective.
yes. It sounds deceptively easy, though. Why would he need all of us to guard his sister's house? Couldn't we just get some dogs?
Well, first off, perhaps there's more than just this one, the Strahd, who coming to try and take his sister. Perhaps it is a cult. Perhaps there will be multiple of them. Also, if they are a cult worshiping dark gods, they may have mystical abilities of their own that require something more intelligent and more powerful than mere dogs to defend against.
So, does anybody have any thoughts against doing it?
No, I mean, if we are here, and if there's something evil going on, then we should help.
Reginald?
I have no qualms with helping.
Ferris?
Ferris is staring at his wine glass.
Poke, poke.
I will go along with everyone else. If they wish to help this person, then I will help as well.
Are you sure you're feeling up to it?
He nods.
Perhaps you just need a good day's sleep.
Yes. Perhaps some sleep would be good.
We could all probably use a good day's sleep.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'm going to finish my vino and my pheasant, then go up for a nap. But I would like to have... Actually, I won't need to do that before tonight. So...
All right. So maybe during our sleep, we can take a little bit of a break and be back in 10 minutes or so.
Sounds good.
Mike, real quick.
Yes.
When I go up to my room, I'm bringing the food and drink with me so that I can eat alone.
Sure. Understood.
Ooh, spooky.
So real quick, we'll take a break. I'll just let you guys know that you each are introduced to a very Spartan bedroom. Has simple furnishings, but everything is there. The bed is comfortable enough to sleep on. And we will resume the game after you all have rested for 8 hours. So long rest, and then we'll go ahead and resume the game.
All right.
James, I'm going to reset my computer just to make sure anything that's wrong over here got fixed.
Okay, so I'll add you back on the stream.
Yep.
All right, everyone.
All right. See you guys in 10 minutes.
See you on the other side of the break.
Intermission time. Time that stretch you've been wanting. And best of all, time to take your pick from that scrumptious array of tasty treats waiting for you at the snack bar, where the popcorn's poppin', the cold drinks are sparkling, the hot dogs are sling, the coffee is steaming, and a luscious treasure of confectionery delights with ice cream and candy and so much more to tempt any taste is waiting for you now at the snack bar. You'll be notified in plenty of time when the next show is about to begin.
Hello, Bimbo. I'm leaving home.
Yeah, I'll go with you. Meet me under your window.
Okay. Let's go.
Minnie the Moocher. She was a red-hot hoochie coocher. She was the roughest, toughest frail. Minnie had a heart as big as a whale. Hoddy, hoddy, ho. Hoddy, hoddy, ho. Hoddy, hoddy, hoddy. Hoddy, hoddy, hoddy. He-dee, he-dee, he-dee. Hoddy, hoddy, ho. Hoddy, hoddy, ho. She messed around with a bloke named Smokey. She loved him though he was cokey. He took her down to Chinatown. He showed her how to kick the gong around. Showed her how to kick the gong around. Ari, 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 ari. She had a dream about the king of Sweden. Yeah. He gave her things that she was needing. He gave her a home built of gold and steel, a diamond car with the platinum wheels. Oh, ski-bop, do-dot, let it do. Oh, ski-bop, do-dot, let it do. Ski-bop, ski-bop, ski-bop-de-go-de-go-de-go. Haddy, haddy, ho. Haddy, haddy, ho. He gave her his townhouse and his racing horses. Yeah. Each meal she ate was a dozen courses. She had $1 million worth of nickels and dimes. She sat around and counted them all 1,000,000 times. Dee-ho, dee-ho, oh, dee-ho, dee-ho, dee-ha, 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 dee-ha.
How much shock can you take? It will haunt you forever. From the depths of evil comes a diabolic killer of beautiful women. The vampire's coffin. See a vampire's body stolen from its tomb. A psycho killer removes the stake so the vampire can again prey on beautiful women. It's in the vampire's coffin. And to complete a double night of horror, a monstrous nightmare of terror, turned loose in a fight to the death. The robot versus the Aztec mummy. They will bring you a night of terror. We dare you to see them, but don't come alone. The Vampire's Coffin in an all-new double horrorama show with The Robot versus the Aztec Mummy, presented in Hypnoscope.
Monster of the Deep, with a blood-chilling pattern for murder. A flood of action, terror, and suspense that spell The Embalmer. She-Beast, deadlier than Dracula, wilder than the werewolf, more frightening than Frankenstein.
A young girl is murdered at a famous English boarding school near London. The newspapers call the mad killer the Sinister Monk.
Come on! The monk was here!
I'm scared. I'm so scared.
Who is he? Who is the Sinister Monk?
What was that?
Whoever gets in the way of the Sinister Monk is a dead man. Scotland Yard uses every means at its disposal to capture the ruthless murderer. Who is his next victim? Don't miss the Sinister Monk.
The terror of the unknown reaches out from forgotten centuries, and a horror legend 2,000 years old comes alive as a hideous demon rises from the grave to bring a new high in horror to the motion picture screen. The Vampire and the Ballerina. No one is safe from this monster of the night, this creature from the crypt of the living dead, who stalks the countryside in search of victims for his insatiable bloodlust. The Vampire and the Ballerina. Into the evil domain of the Vampire King comes a company of beautiful dancers. And the most desirable of them all is the ballerina. Helpless in the grip of his satanic power that brings everlasting enslavement to her soul. The screen has never reached such heights of fright, such soul-shivering suspense, such heart-stopping horror. You will remember for always the startling, haunting motion picture, The Vampire and the Ballerina.
And we are back, I think, somewhere. I'm trying to find our... This is not Carbon 20. There we go. That's good enough. All right.
Is Greg in the background?
Oh, yep. He has left stream, and now he is back to the stream.
I think everything's working now. I can hear everybody. That's a good thing.
All right.
Yay.
Perfect. Okay, so you all get a chance to rest. So you have a long rest. You're able to recuperate some hit points.
2 questions, Mike.
Yes.
First question. Do I recover my strength damage?
Your strength damage.
Yes.
Let me check real quick. I think you do. I think it's recovered over time, but let me check if it's that or you need a restoration spell. Hang on 1 second.
Let's watch everybody looks at their books.
Ah.
Gah.
Humbug.
Where are you going? Money.
For example, Shadows mention that lost strength recovers when you take a short or long rest.
Okay. Yep.
They
That's
check
what I thought.
I double check.
The other question is about sanity recovery.
You recover sanity based on your bonuses. So whatever your highest bonus is between the three attributes, it's intelligence, wisdom, and charisma.
Okay. So every day, every 8 hour, basically every long rest.
Yes. Every long rest, you recuperate that much insanity.
Okay.
Up to your maximum.
Oh, I want to keep the extra.
So everybody go ahead and up your sanity if you lost any.
I'm in danger.
We get our hit dice back, or half of our hit dice back, something like that.
Half of your hit dice back.
Half our hit dice. So if you do a long rest, yeah.
So if my total is 3 and I have 1 left, that means I have 2 now? Or do I have 3 now?
I believe it's round down.
Okay.
I think it's round down. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's round down.
Yeah. I think everything is round down.
Okay, so you guys all rest for 8 hours. As I said before, but the break, the rooms are Spartan, but they have ample furnishings for you. They have a bed, a table, chair, a small lantern, very small window. What's that?
It's not dirty.
No, it looks like it's clean.
Please ignore that.
Okay.
Sleep it off a little bit.
Okay.
Crunch, crunch.
Okay, so after you guys all wake up, what do you all do? Do you all, I assume you all probably made arrangements to meet back downstairs when everyone woke up?
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Sounds like a plan.
And I would assume, did he tell us where the house is, or is he meeting us at the tavern?
He mentioned that he would come back and meet you at the tavern.
Okay. And how much do we want to ask for this? I guess I won't ask Julius. Taz, what do you think?
I don't usually ask for money
You don't
to do
usually
good
think,
deeds.
okay.
You might
Reginald?
want to ask the halfling.
What do you think, Reginald?
I leave it up. I leave it up to the person if they wish to repay me.
I see.
So you're the only greedy one, Brewpine.
I'm not.
Oh,
greedy.
no. You're leaving out Harris.
Yeah.
What do you think? I was thinking maybe 100 gold for the job. Maybe we should make it 125. Then it's 25 each, easier to math.
I'm sorry, you're talking to who?
Ferris.
Oh, okay. So when you guys all come back downstairs, I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Your mic broke out. I didn't hear who you're talking to.
Sorry.
You all come downstairs. Ferris has not come downstairs yet.
Suppose I'll be the one to go get him.
Okay.
Something is definitely wrong with that boy ever since we left the manor.
Oh, yeah.
So you go upstairs to his room, Julius. Are you going by yourself?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Anybody coming with me?
Roll for initiative.
Yeah, right.
All right, so you go upstairs, and you go up to the room that he went into. What do? You knock on the door. Mm-hmm. There is no response. Still no response after another knock.
I checked the door.
It is unlocked.
I opened the door.
The room is empty. There is a piece of paper that has been left on the table.
Dun, dun, dun.
Does the bed look slept in?
No, it does not.
I look at the note.
It's a little, the penmanship it could be a little better, and the note rambles on a little bit, but the sum of it is that he is an independent person and feels that he'll have better luck trying to find his way out of this place on his own than trying to stay here with all of you. And he thinks that going to try and save a girl from a powerful count is a quote-unquote fool's errand. He wishes you all the best, and perhaps you will see, your paths will cross again.
All righty. I bring the note down to everybody. I slap it on the table.
I kind of felt that he was not with the rest of us, but I wish him luck. Maybe he'll find his way home.
He didn't strike me as a team player.
No.
I will take the piece of paper and look on the back side. Is there anything on the other side?
No, just some. It looks like he at one point put his wine glass down on the paper and it stained the glass, but that's about it.
I will fold
Paper
it up
stained the glass? Wow.
and put it in my little book.
Okay, fair enough. So Eric comes over to you and says, I have some porridge if you want it. I also have some bread and cheese, some water. And your friend left a while back. I'm sure you probably know that, but
we do now.
He didn't say anything. He just nodded at me and walked out the door.
He is a man of few words, it seems. I will have... Did you say oatmeal?
Porridge.
Porridge, all right. Do you have any sugar, syrup, maple, or otherwise?
I think I can find some brown sugar.
Okay. How about some raisins?
Sure. I think I have some.
Well, if you got grapes, there should be some raisins. All right. That sounds lovely.
So he brings you out some porridge with some raisins and brown sugar. Anybody else?
Yep, I will ask if he has any sort of meat.
We have some cold pheasant left over from yesterday.
That is fine.
Hesitantly. He puts down a quarter of the bird in front of you.
All right, and I start eating that.
Okay.
How long did we sleep for? If it's the next day, we went to sleep in the morning.
Oh wait, I'm giving you guys breakfast when I should probably be giving you guys another dinner. So
yeah,
scratch that. Sorry, it's dinner time, not porridge. It's probably going to be instead lamb stew.
We had dinner for breakfast, so I figured we were just going to have breakfast for dinner.
Good call. Thanks for catching me on that.
Do they still have porridge? I don't like lamb that much.
All right, then you have porridge anyway. So you guys all have a dinner of some sort. It would be dinner time.
Except for I just have one ale with my dinner.
Your dinner?
Yeah.
Break dinner.
That reminds me, Julius, you never said how much the rooms were.
Don't worry about it.
Actually, here, take this pouch of 30 silver. Ferris gave it to me back when we were in the house, and I have no idea why he gave it to me, so might as well use his money to pay for the rooms.
Fair enough.
Okay.
What the? Oh, look, I just got a Java runtime environment error.
Damn you, Strahd, with your runtime errors.
Seriously.
He does not want you to save that girl.
Runtime
Oh,
error.
yeah. Updated license terms. Why do I want this now? Go away.
So I just check my component pouch to make sure I have everything I need and do little finger exercises, limbering up my fingers.
Okay.
And wait for...
So when exactly was Inside supposed to meet with us?
So about the time that you guys are finishing up your meal, Ismark comes walking into the room, and he says, you are awake. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I don't trust people who say that.
He says, now let me give you some more details. Strahd has come by the manor for the last 2 nights. On the first night, he came with wolves in tow, and the wolves attempted to break into the house.
Uh-huh.
The second night, last night, he came by with creatures that I haven't seen before. They were lifeless, and they shuffled and shambled towards the door. They seemed to be mindless abominations. And once again, we managed to thwart his attempts. But regrettably, my father, Ismark the Elder, he passed away during this event.
Last night?
Last night.
Your father died last night?
Yes, that's correct.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Yes.
Yeah, I am sorry.
He kind of nods. He says, it is unfortunate, but I have no time to grieve now. I'm only concerned about my sister. He says, I am worried that Strahd will come by again and redouble his efforts to try and break into the house, and wanted to make sure that you were all prepared for, hopefully, well, I don't know what to prepare you for, but to prepare you for possibly a battle.
Okay. So...
And if we are successful, my last request from you is to help us give my father a proper burial at the local church. And then
it would be our honor.
And then,
Yes.
And then if you were able to do this, I would be indebted forever.
Well,
Never,
we're
never.
100 gold for tonight's service. We can talk about the rest after we see if we survive this.
He nods. He says, anything to protect my sister.
Wunderbar.
He says, whenever you're ready, I can walk you back over to the manor and show you, and introduce you to my sister.
Let's go, because I'd like to get a lay of the land and see where our strategic points will be for Strahd blocking.
For Strahd blocking. Like it. I like it. All right.
I just want to see more of the town and other people who live here.
Okay.
Wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, I would say it'd probably be better to wait with that for tomorrow. We need to... If we're going to have a battle tonight, we need to prepare. It's better to know the land around where you're fighting on.
Okay. So I assume that you guys all finish eating and then follow Ismark back to the mansion?
Aye, Captain.
Yep.
All right. So back to the Burgo. He is called the Burgo Master, which is basically the magistrate. What you make your way through the town, and you notice as you're walking through the town that there is nobody on the streets at all. The streets are deserted. All of the windows are closed. All the doors are closed. It is quite literally a ghost town. You don't see anybody on the street besides yourself, and your steps seem to echo on the cobblestones as you walk.
Man, this place really clears out at night.
Is there a hint of garlic on the air?
Actually, let me make a roll for you here. Yes, actually, Brepine, you do notice that there are several houses that have cloves of garlic or a wreath of garlic, either hanging on the door or hanging on some of the shutters as you walk by them.
Oh my. Now, I wonder if I would know why. I mean, I have been studying monsters a little bit.
Yes, true. So you can make a roll if you'd like and see if you know maybe the reason why people have garlic hanging on their houses.
What do you think that would be?
That's a good one.
History or arcana from studying monsters, nature, survival, medicine.
Wow, that's tough. I would have to say out of all of those, I'd say history would probably be the best. The history of monsters would probably be.
All right. So let's give history a little.
Monsters are such interesting people.
10.
With the 10, unfortunately, all you're really able to come up with, you remember reading something, but it was a while back now, but it had something to do with the undead for sure. You know that's why they're hanging garlic. You don't know if it's a deterrent or if it's some kind of maybe a superstition, but you know it has to do with the undead for sure.
I pointed out to everyone and say, hey, I'm seeing a lot of garlic. I'm pretty sure that's for preventing undead or something. But
if you say so, I'm not familiar with this garlic.
It's an herb, I guess.
Dead.
Yeah.
Mike, shall I roll a religion?
Sure.
Sure, I would know something about gun.
14?
Yes, you're with a 14. You're able to collaborate, and you come up with additional information. Garlic is used to try and keep vampires away from people's houses, primarily vampires. That's the only one that you know of that is connected to garlic. It is not entirely sure if it worked, if it's successful, but people still put garlic on. Either they wear garlic or they put it on their houses, on entrances to try and keep vampires from entering.
Garlic. Pshaw. Vampires are just an old wives' tale.
No, they're not.
No?
That's a great answer. No, they're not.
I thought they were an old wives' tale. Sort of like, I don't know, Snow Sun.
Who?
What? Snow Suns?
Don't worry about it. I ask our leader who hired us,
Ismark.
Do you have a vampire problem around here?
He kind of stops walking and he looks at you and he says, "Well, Count Strahd is suspected to be a vampire. Many believe he's a vampire."
That's good to know.
Oh.
Probably would have been really good to know, like, before we were on our way there.
Well, nobody knows for sure, but many have suspected that he is of undead and that he is he is one of the night.
I look around to see if I can find any pointy sticks on the ground.
I will make a perception roll for you. No, you do not see any pointy sticks on the ground. Ismark says, if you feel you want to get better prepared, we can stop at the Mercantile's shop. He's still open, and perhaps you can get a few things you think you might need.
Okay.
Certainly worth a look.
It wouldn't hurt.
Agreed.
Okay.
Look for a garlic necklace and a couple steaks.
Steaks like meat, like fish or meat steaks.
So you go to Bildrath's Mercantile, which actually isn't that far away. You guys were walking out of the inn, or the tavern rather, and you had actually already passed it, so you guys just double back. And you step in, and you can see that there is a sparse light that spills out of this building, and you can see a sign on the door that reads Bildrath's Mercantile. The building itself is about 70 feet long, about 40 feet wide. You can see a man standing behind a counter. He seems to be preoccupied with a piece of glass that he's shining. He has a very neat beard, has very close cropped hair, and he kind of stands up when he sees you walk in, and he looks a little surprised when he sees Tezcodal, and Ismark says, "You can rest easy, Bildrath. These people are not here to harm you. They're here to buy any equipment that they can." Bildrath says, "Welcome to my shop. Please look around and let me know if you have any questions."
Do you have any garlic?
He kind of looks at you and he smiles and he says, "Of course." He says, "There's a large barrel in the back of the store. You can help yourself to as many as you need."
Okay, and how about needle and thread?
Yes, we also have needle and thread. You can find it on the shelf over on the far wall.
Okay. So I take some needle and thread and string up about 10 pieces of garlic and put it around my neck. Say, how much will it be?
Ismark looks at Bildrath and says, "Just put it on my tab." And Bildrath kind of shrugs and says, "Okay."
Does he have holy water?
Bildrath shakes his head. He says, "Unfortunately, I do not. The only place that you can actually get any form of holy water is from the church up on the hill."
Okay.
What are you buying? Why are the garlic and holy water? What are these things?
These are weapons to use against vampires.
So, Reginald, do you know Do crosses work against vampires?
Holy symbols.
Yes, holy symbols.
But only if you have faith.
Really? Gotta have the faith part, huh?
Yep.
How about this one? How about this one? How about this one?
Does he have flaming oil or Greek fire or alchemist's fire, whatever they call it in this version?
I think it's called Alchemist's Fire.
Yeah, I think it's Alchemist's Fire.
He shakes his head. I'm sorry, I do not have such a thing.
You have oil.
Yes, I do have lamp oil that I can sell you.
Lamp oil is better than nothing. How much for a flask of lamp oil?
Hang on 1 second.
We should have mugged Ferris for his +1 short sword before he left.
Yes, well.
Oh, who ended up with the spell book? Did he give it to you?
Yeah, he gave it to her.
Oh, okay. It'll be 5 silver pieces for 1 flask of oil.
I'm going to get 4 flasks of oil.
Okay. You can put yourself down for 4 flasks of oil. That'll be a gold piece.
How about torches? Does he have? I mean, we probably can make torches out in the wilderness, but what?
He does sell torches. They
pitchforks.
There are pitchforks if you want those too.
No.
Torches are going to be 1 silver piece per torch.
All right. I mean, I have 10 already because I haven't used any of my torches yet. So I think I'm good.
Mike, would 20 silver not be 2 gold?
Yeah, you're right. 2 gold.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Anything else? The store mostly looks like it's kind of slanted towards agriculture. But I mean, there are some armor and weapons there. But yeah, by and large, everything here looks like it's kind of slanted towards people who spend their day in the fields, not fighting.
With my role for religion before, would I know if silver is a particularly good weapon against a vampire, or do I need to roll again?
What did you roll?
14, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 14.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and roll again? You're not entirely sure.
How about a 19?
So you're trying to find out if silvered weapons actually do anything against vampires?
Yeah.
As far as you know, you don't think so. You think that silvered weapons are good against lycanthropes, werewolves, and whatnot, and maybe possibly other forms of undead, but you don't think silver affects vampires.
Okay.
You know what affects vampires? Magic missile.
Yeah. That pretty much affects everything.
Yep.
What did you get, Matt? Was it a 19?
Yep.
Okay, with a 19, you do know that that a stake through the heart that's made of wood would definitely cause a vampire to be incapacitated. It doesn't kill it, but it basically freezes it. It can't move.
Mm-hmm.
And that, of course, sunlight. Vampires are very, very susceptible to sunlight.
Hey, Tez.
They're
What
very flammable.
shaft of your spear made out of?
It's just a spear. It's metal that we have forged from our own, metal smiths.
Okay, I was just checking to see if it was a wood handle with a metal tip.
That's what it is, yes.
So then you could stab vampires with the wood part too.
Sure.
To make it like a wooden stake.
Uh-huh.
Steak.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
So yeah, Ismark is waiting patiently at the door.
I step out.
Okay, you're done?
Hmm.
Is there anything else you guys are interested in purchasing?
I believe I'm good.
Yes, I still have food and other things that I can live
I
off of.
apologize. How much were wooden stakes?
1 silver piece each. No, wait. I'm sorry. That was torches. Hang on. Stakes.
I like steak.
Wooden stakes. 1 copper piece. 1 copper piece each.
Oh, Jesus. Did anybody buy any yet?
Negative.
I buy 10.
All right.
And I pass them out.
So
Okay.
there's 4 of you. So
Buy 12.
I buy 10. You buy the other 2. I'm keeping 2 for myself.
You don't
I'll
have
keep 2
Ishtar is
for me.
buying everything. You don't have to actually pay for it.
Oh.
Because our boss is buying all this stuff for us.
Fine, then I recommend everybody get 3.
All right, I get 3.
okay, everyone, go ahead and write down. You've got 3 wooden stakes.
All right.
3
Writing it down.
Write it down. Got 3 sticks.
Okay. Anything else?
Not that I can think of. At least not for me. I don't know about anybody else.
So I didn't have to buy the lamp oil?
No. Technically, you didn't have to buy it. He bought it for you, so you can get that money back.
All right.
So you guys continue on your way?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. You guys continue down the narrow cobblestone street, past the mercantile shop. As you continue down the street, towards the end of the street, you can see a manor, a stately-looking house, if you will. And Ismark says, "That's it. That is the house there on the hill." You can see a weary-looking mansion squats on a small hill behind a rusting iron fence. The iron gates are twisted and torn. The right gate lies cast aside, completely pulled from its hinges, while the left one swings lazily in the wind. The squeal and clang of the gate repeats with mindless precision as it blows in the wind. Weeds choke the grounds and press with menace upon the house itself. Yet against the walls, the undergrowth has been trampled down and creates a visible path all the way around the building. You notice as you approach, heavy claw marks have stripped the once beautiful finish off the outside walls, and great black marks tell of the fires that have assailed this mansion. Not a pane nor a shard of glass stands in any window, and all of the windows are barred with planks, each one marked with a mysterious omen on the exterior. You are walking up towards the mansion itself. Is anyone doing anything particular before you approach?
I'm just looking at the landscape to try to get a lay of the land.
I'm looking around too, just to kind of see what I can see.
Okay. So this is a building that is longer than it is, wider than it is long. So oblong, I guess is. And then it has a small wall, about a 6-foot wall that goes around it. The wall looks like it has been broken in places, or at least has been compromised. Yeah, it looks like the masonry has actually been pushed down in areas. There's a gate that leads directly into the front entrance. There is no back entrance. There is a couple trees on the small fruit-bearing trees that are on the grounds themselves. The ground has been trampled pretty well. And then, of course, the building itself looks like it has been under siege, for lack of a better word. All of the windows have been boarded up. There seems to be some kind of omen or some kind of evil eye written on the exterior windows. And then 2 heavy wooden doors with iron bands are the front doors that are closed. There is signs of fires, or at least the sign of outdoor burning fires, scorch marks in various places on the grounds as well, next to the buildings.
So with this place, I mean, does it look like it's cursed with all the evil eyes, or?
It looks like actually, make a religion roll for me.
I don't know if I have it, but I will happily make it.
They really like the number 6 because they have it all over the place 3 times.
Let's see here. I think where's my roll? Oh wow, I got a 17. So
okay. As far as you can tell, it looks like at least the symbology kind of indicates not so much an evil eye. That's probably poor terminology. It's more of an omen or a sign to ward off evil spirits. Kind of like if you were to make the sign of a cross that supposedly is supposed to keep a spirit away. There's similar markings on these buildings that seem to indicate that it's to try and ward off spirits, or at least make an attempt to do so.
So there's bad spirits around this place. It looks like the places have a ward. Yes, that's what I can see.
So, do you all think we would be better off defending it from the inside or from the outside?
Inside. By the way, Mike.
Yes.
With the 19, do I know whether the thing about having to invite a vampire in is accurate?
Mm-hmm.
With a 19, yes. You know for a fact that a vampire cannot enter a building unless he is invited. If it's not a building that he owns or he doesn't already have permission to enter, he needs to gain permission in order to enter the building.
And once he's invited, is that it? Or does he have to be invited each time?
Once some person that lives at the house has invited him into the building, the vampire is then free to enter and exit whenever he desires. But he needs to gain permission first.
We're doomed.
How do you translate that into Paladin?
We are doomed.
I was trying to see if you're going to put a positive spin on that.
Yes, he's positive that we're doomed.
Yes.
The Paladin says the odds are stacked against us. No, we're
Our
doomed.
lives will be forfeit to save her.
So, James, you notice looking around as you guys are entering through the gates, a lot of the footprints are human footprints, but they appear to be barefoot, like people are walking around without shoes on, which for you, I mean, that's not too unusual for your culture, but most people that you have encountered wear footwear.
Yes.
It's a little unusual for them to be barefoot. That's odd.
I will point out to everyone else to say they're not wearing boots in this area. Perhaps they're more comfortable in the freedom of their environment.
The second thing that you notice, which you also found a little unusual, is there's very large paw prints of an animal. It looks like a wolf, but it looks like a very big wolf, like a wolf that has, very big feet.
Yeah, I'll point that out as well. I said, yes, there are people here who go without their boots, and it looks like there is wolves. Perhaps they're friends with wolves here, or wolves hunt them.
He already said that Strahd brought wolves with him the first time.
These look like wolves of abnormal size. These do not look like your normal-sized wolves.
WOUS.
Exactly.
I don't believe they exist.
Right.
Well, so
he walks you up to the main, unless you guys want to do anything outdoors, he walks you up to the main door and knocks on the door loudly. And he says, Irina, it is I. Are you there? Does anybody do anything else before he knocks on the door?
No.
I keep a lookout, especially the big wolves kind of have me worried, but
I give a prayer to Helm to provide protection to this building and all within.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm praying to Ungalan.
Alrighty. So the door opens, and with a heavy creak, it sounds like there's some furniture being moved around or something's going on behind the doors. And then the door opens slowly, and you can see a young woman kind of peers out. Very attractive human. She is young, probably in her early 20s, has fiery copper hair, and she looks and she says, Ismark, is that you? Who are you with? And he says, you can rest easy, my sister. These are people that are here to help us. They will help us against Strahd. And she says, I will let you in. And then she closes the door, and you hear more stuff being moved around. And the door opens up, and you can see that she has a long sword in her hands. She wears what looks like some very ill-fitting armor. It doesn't look like it fits her properly. And as I said before, she is a young, attractive woman in her early 20s.
Are you waiting for a fight?
She says, I am waiting for Strahd to return.
Divine sense.
Divine sense on her?
Yes. Everything in 60 feet.
Oh, right. Okay. So she is good. She is of good alignment. You do not sense any immediate evil within the area, but there is, again, the very permeation of evil all around you, as I've mentioned before. But there is no concentration of evil anywhere nearby that would make you worried or concerned.
So I sense she's good. So is she undead?
No.
Remember, it's only undead celestials and dragons.
So there, she's a celestial dragon.
So people that don't fall under that criterion, you don't sense anything.
I don't sense them
at all. Okay.
Nope.
All right. Good to know. So yeah, you don't sense anything at all from her, which is probably not too surprising. But no, there's no. You get no sense of evil in the immediate area.
Okay.
So you walk into a large entrance chamber. As I said, the house is oblong, wider than it is long. There's 2 levels to it. You can see a grand fireplace is just over beyond her, over her shoulder. There's 2 staircases that lead up to the second level, and then there's doors leading off to other parts of the house on either side. She says, "Good evening." She says, "I will thank you for your assistance. My name is Irina, and I am, of course, sister to Ismark. This is our home. You are welcome to make yourselves at home. Anything that you have or want is yours if you feel that you need it in order to help defend us against the vampire."
So, hi, I am Bree Pine.
Hello.
And just out of curiosity, if you guys suspect Strahd is a vampire, why did you invite him in the house?
Well, she kind of looks a little, well, I don't want to say ashamed, maybe a little sheepish. The first night he came to me, he called at me from outside, and I was in my bedroom. And then I came to the window to see who was calling. And as I peered out the window, our eyes met. And his eyes, they seemed to I could not avoid staring at them. I felt like I was compelled to go down and open the door and let him in. I wanted to resist, but I could not. And he walked in.
Tonight, maybe we can blindfold you.
She said, well,
it doesn't matter. He's already been invited in.
Right. I don't mean for that, but we don't want him to hypnotize her and lure her out of the house.
I've got that covered.
Okay.
I turn to her and I say, do you mind if I examine you?
She kind of takes a step back and says, because, you're wearing a helmet and the whole thing. And she's like, and looks at her brother and says, oh, okay.
So basically I want to look her over and get a sense for her physical well-being. Has she been half drained? Does she have bite marks? Like, what's her condition?
Alrighty.
You want me to do medicine?
If you have medicine, if not, then it would be a straight up perception roll.
That's a 19 medicine.
Okay. So she takes off her armor. She puts down her sword. She's wearing plain clothes under it. You can tell right away, you being a trained warrior, that is not her armor. That is not armor that she should be wearing. In fact, it probably is going to do more harm than good. It's so bulky that it's going to make it difficult for her to move around in it. But I mean, putting that aside, you can see that she has a silk scarf that is wrapped around her neck, and as you gently peer under the scarf, you can see 2 puncture wounds on her neck. She is very pale. She looks like she's putting a great effort forward, but you think that she's probably not as strong as she looks. She looks like she's trying to put on a brave front, but you think her state is probably pretty weakened. She looks like taking the armor off seemed to take a little more out of her than you would expect.
I turn to Ismark and I say, is it just the 2 of you, or are there others in the house?
He's busy. He's pushing a bureau back up against, it's more like a settee. It's where you keep all the silverware and dishes and whatnot. He's pushing it up against the 2 doors. And he says, unfortunately, it was just myself, my sister, and our father. That is all who lives here.
Does it look like the armor would fit him better?
It'd probably fit him a little better than it would fit her. Yeah.
So I say, why don't you put on this armor and take the sword? Meanwhile, I will guard her and make sure she's rested because she is very weak.
She says, I try to rest, but he seems to come to me in my dreams. I'm unable to sleep for long.
Well, even if you don't sleep, just relaxing and resting will be helpful.
She nods.
And I will watch over you.
She kind of looks over to Ismark again, and he nods. He says, do not worry, little sister. They're here to protect us. No harm will, hopefully no harm will come to you while they are here. So she says, I'll go lay down for a little while now. Are you going to follow her?
I am going to follow her, yes.
Okay. So the second level has 3 bedrooms. She goes into one of the bedrooms, which just by the look of it looks like it's hers. All of the windows are boarded up. Ismark says the only way in or out of the building is through the front doors, or literally someone's going to have to break through the boards to get through the windows. He said we spent the better part of the last of today boarding up all the windows.
Are there enough cracks like that we can shoot out the window?
you could probably find a couple windows that you could probably, you could find a window or something that you could shoot out of. Sure. Either that or you could, loosen the board a little bit so there's enough room so you could fire something out. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to make a little, probably on the first floor, make a little spot for myself where I can see out and shoot out the window.
Okay. So it'll take a little time, but yeah, you could go around to each window and basically make, for lack of a better word, a murder hole or a murder slit in order for people to shoot out. Okay. So Tezcodal, what are you doing in during this time? Are you doing anything particular?
I'll probably go around the outside of the structure just to kind of see if there's anywhere I can like set up any sort of traps or at least an alarm if anything's coming towards us.
Or is Mark? I need to go outside. All right, I'll move all this stuff again.
Yes. He pushes all the furniture aside so you could go back outside again. I mean, the building. I'm not really sure what you're looking for. I mean, you could definitely set up a trap. I mean, everything's been trampled down, so it's not going to be, it's going to be difficult to try and hide anything to keep it out of sight.
Well, at least want to put something out there so, like, if something comes within at least, I don't know, 10 yards of us, it sounds an alarm so we can be ready for it.
Okay, so maybe a bunch of pots and pans drop out of a tree and make some noise, or what do you have in mind?
I'm kind of thinking more of something like a tripwire that might set off some sort of clanging pots or pans or a bell or something.
You can make a survival roll to go ahead and see if you can set that up. Do you have any rope? If not, I'm sure you could find some somewhere in the house.
I do have rope, so.
All right, fair enough. So you can go ahead and make a roll. Let me know what you get.
All right.
Mike, how many windows are in this room?
Normally this area is pretty well lit. It's on the second floor. There are two, I want to call them bay windows. So there's two bay windows or French doors on the on one side and then on the other side as well.
Bay windows, those are the kinds with big explosions, right?
Yes.
I'm sorry?
Oh, no, those are Michael Bay windows.
Yeah, the Michael Bay windows.
Yes, the Michael Bay windows. Whenever you try to open them, they explode.
I got a 13 on my survival.
Okay. You've set it up. Like I said, you've taken some grass and some vegetation. You tried to cover it up a little bit. You think if somebody walks in the general area that even inside with the boarded windows, you're going to hear the pots falling out of the tree.
Okay. And I'll just go back inside at that point. And let's see here. I have a longbow, so I will set myself up in a good area.
So as I said, it's 2 levels. Breepine's been going around basically making some murder holes. So it's slits basically large enough that you can aim and fire. You don't have too much of a degree as far as left and right goes. So it really has to be somebody directly in front of you. But you could, in theory, shoot out the window at anyone that's in front of the window. So
I'm going to be so useless. Murder holes do not work with slings.
No, unfortunately, they're great with arrows, but sling bullets really don't work with murder holes. So
I have a couple spells, so do something.
So, Mike, the reason I was asking about the windows is what kind of furniture is there in here? Is there some
she has a large canopy bed. She has an armoire. She has a small table that has hairbrushes and other things to make herself look nice. A chair. It looks like the armoire has been pushed up against one of the windows. Both windows have been hastily boarded up. It's not a great job. It looks like basically they dismantled a piece of furniture and used that wood in order to board up the windows. So, it's not ironclad, but it's something. It's something besides the windows being, completely vulnerable. So,
right. So basically, since one already has the armoire against it, I want to go look for another tall piece of furniture that I can put in front of the other one.
Okay. So you walk into one of the other bedrooms, and you do find another armoire. that you could push up against that other window if you wanted to. I'm not going to bother with the strength roll. I'm going to say with some heaving and hoeing, you managed to get it into place. It's not worth trying to. It doesn't. I'm not going to kill you.
You're not going to belabor the point.
Yeah. One way or the other, you get in front of the window. So.
Okay.
Okay, fair enough. Bree Pine, besides the murder holes, are you doing anything else? Are you doing those on the first floor and second floor, or are you just doing it on the first floor?
I'll probably do it on first floor and the second floor.
Okay, fair enough. That's going to take some time, but I mean,
nothing but time until he comes.
Exactly. It's not.
I got no more time.
So on the first floor is the kitchen, the dining room. There is a family room area or den. You see that their father has been laid to rest in the family room. He has been covered. Basically, he's been placed on the dining room table. He's been wrapped in a sheet, kind of like a burial shroud, and yeah, they're waiting to.
Hopefully, he stays there.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
You don't want him to jump up and help you out. All right, so James, is Tezcotl doing anything else besides setting that trap and then just basically looking for a good place to fire arrows?
Exactly, yeah, just kind of
All right.
trying to create something where I can shoot if I see anything.
Okay. All right, so then all of you have done everything. Ismark has got the furniture back up against the front door. And he says, unfortunately, there's not much more we can do except wait. And hopefully it'll be a quiet night. So he goes up to the second floor and takes a vantage point in one of the bedrooms, not the one that you're in. He's on the other side of the building, looking out over the gate, the front entrance. Is anyone doing anything else?
Nope, I'm going to just set up at the window.
I do have a question.
Yes.
Now, let's say that we beat him tonight. Let's say that he's not going to just come back tomorrow.
So, are you asking Ismark?
Yeah.
He says.
Let's say he's not going to just keep coming back until he gets what he wants.
He says that is a good question. He says that is a good question, my friend. My goal is that if we are able to repel his attack tonight, my next request from you would be to help me escort my sister to another nearby town, and hopefully he will not be able to find her there. There is a town that is some distance away from us, the town of Vallaki. But if you are able to help me make sure that she makes it to Vallaki, that is the last request I will make of you, and I hope that she will be safe at the church there.
That should not be a problem. That should not be a problem. But first, we must make it through the night.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. We should probably head to that next town, especially if he's zeroed in on this area.
He nods. He says, hopefully she will be safe there, but we should focus on tonight, obviously, before we think about tomorrow. So, all right. So as time passes, we're actually going to break here because it's about 10 of midnight. And of course, the next thing that happens is going to be exciting, fun. Yay. So we're not gonna start that right now.
But I'm sure the audience wants to be here until 3 a.m.
Yes, we're going to end this. We're going to end this session tonight with all of you peering out into the darkness. And as you're peering out, you hear the sound of a howl in the distance, followed by the heavy shuffling of footsteps and the creak of an iron gate. And then you hear Ismark cry out, "They're coming."
Dun, dun, dun.
Brace yourself.
And that's where we'll stop tonight, and we will pick it up in 2 weeks' time. At that point,
and we level up, right?
No, I'm afraid not. So that's it for this evening. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll go ahead and I'll pass it back to James. Thanks, everybody. Thanks to everyone who is watching.
All right. Well,
Take it away, James.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to say happy Halloween to all of us, all of you out there, and happy Samhain for those who observe it. And we'll be back in a couple of weeks. Other than that, again, just our Patreon. We will, I'll look at it when I can actually log on to it. We will, YouTube, if you're watching us on YouTube, definitely subscribe, hit the bell. We're here every 2 weeks, and we're not going anywhere anytime soon. No, I doubt it. We'll be here forever. You'll be 90 years old, and we'll still be here.
What?
What? Facebook.com, Show Us Your Crits Media. Definitely give us a like. That helps us out. Buy our stuff. Besides Patreon, if you want a cool T-shirt or hat or mug or face mask or I don't know, I think they even have baby clothes. So yeah, if you want a baby clothes with the half naked Show Us Your Crits woman on it, then rock on. That's there. Other than that, have a good night, and we will all see you soon. And we are going to go ahead and hit our little closing video thing, wherever it is.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. And closing.